Fight fans, fight fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen says that Jon Jones could beat Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali. Wow. Okay, now he had this to say. He said that for him to pay tribute to Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali earlier was a very nice thing for him to do. But the reality is that Jon Jones could beat Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali in the same day. I don't think he understands how good he is. He says, when he says he wants to be the best ever, okay, as far as tying Tito Ortiz, maybe he had a couple more wins, but he hasn't had the competition that you faced. I'm not going to try to degrade Jon. He's a world champion. He's the best in the weight class, and he's the best the weight class has ever seen. And that's Jon Jones. Okay, let me counterpunch this. First of all, Chael Sonnen is a talker. He's a big bullshitter. You know, I think he does good at commentation because he likes to talk. I respect UFC. I like it. It's entertaining. It's taken America by storm. It has replaced what boxing was in like the 90s and the early 2000s for fans, you know, especially that people that couldn't box. There's a place for people that like to grapple, submit, strike, kick, all types of forms of attack. And that's a great platform that somebody that just doesn't know how to box. But for Chael Sonnen to sit here and say that Jon Jones could beat Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson in the same night is, first of all, stupid. Okay? Second of all, disrespectful. And this is after Jon Jones is paying homage. First of all, let me get this clear. I'm going to clear things up. This is not Jon Jones saying that he could do anything. This is what Chael Sonnen said Jon Jones could do. After, you know, Jon Jones pays tribute to those guys. Why do you think he does that? Because boxing made UFC. It gave birth to the fucking sport. Even though you can do a lot more in UFC than boxing. However, it's the weight classes, the rules, okay, things you can and cannot do. You know, all that, the weigh-ins, the face-offs, all that derives from the platform of boxing, okay? And if you take a UFC fighter and put boxing gloves on him, put his ass in some trunks and some protective, you know, nut gear, right? Put him in the ring with a boxer, then you will clearly see what is what and who is who, okay? So for Jon Jones, doing what he can do with the platform that he has is brilliant. But to say, hey, he can beat someone else or two famous legendary fighters in a totally different platform is disrespectful. It's way out of sorts. Way out of sorts. You know? And Chael Sonnen is a guy, you know, I know this is like it's a blow against boxing, because he's a UFC fighter, and I understand where the biasness comes from. Jon Jones beat him, okay? So, you know, he made a believer out of him. I get it. Jon beat your ass, so now you're on the Jon Jones bandwagon. But it's more than that. It's bigger than just Jon Jones. He's trying to imply that you could take a UFC fighter and make him box. Not saying you couldn't. Not saying you couldn't do that with Machida. But Machida's better at doing what he's doing, right? You know, Anderson Silva, I'm pretty sure that he could be a good boxer because the way he strikes, the way he moves and dodges and parries. But if you're only dealing with punching, boxing, and you take away the feet, the knees, the elbows, right? All those dynamic kicks, the submissions. You take all that away and you put Jon Jones in a boxing ring against Muhammad Ali, he's going to get ate up, okay? Because he doesn't have that, oh, let me, let me dodge, let me parry right and throw the side kick to back this guy. You can't do that in boxing. You have to use these. A totally different sport. Wraps, gloves, taped up, let's go. Right? I don't see Jon Jones doing any of that, and it's just ludicrous to make such a statement. I mean, it's bold, but it's stupid. Why would you make a statement saying that, hey, I think that he could beat them both in the same night? You're disrespecting boxing when you say shit like that. Second of all, you get someone like Mike Tyson against a taller guy like Jon Jones. Mike's going to go in and crowd Jon Jones. And if Jon doesn't have any power that Mike respects, he's going to knock him out quickly. You know what I mean? Especially if he's trying to keep him back and he's not giving him anything. I get you're on a bandwagon, but don't disrespect people by making just stupid statements about something that you know damn well that will never happen. That can't happen. And if Jon Jones, he's mentioned coming to the sport of boxing, I think he should do that with the fighters that we have today. Put him in there with Efe Ajagba, and let's see how good he is with boxing gloves. And then you could form your own barometer on who he can beat and who he can if he goes in there and gets fucking wiped out by someone like Efe, right? But Chael makes statements like that because he's trying to hype up his sport. He's trying to degrade the sport of boxing by disrespecting it, saying that, sure, Jon Jones is a good fighter. He's great in his era, but I mean, as far as a good boxer, that remains to be seen. And to take the pinnacle of guys, legends again, and say, oh, well, he can wipe them out at one night, and not even really considering the aspects of what boxing truly is. It's stupid, but most importantly, it's ignorant. Because Chael Sonnen is not really thinking this through. See, he can talk all that big shit being a UFC or a former UFC fighter. But you put some boxing gloves on Chael Sonnen and put him in with a boxer. And let's do this 10 years ago. He will still get the shit beat out of him. Okay? Like somebody like, put him in there with Bivol, who was fighting 10 years ago. Put him in there with Kovalev. Better yet, right? He was like, 175? No, he was 200. So yeah, put him in there with a heavyweight. You know what I mean? And see, a decent heavyweight at the time. Right? And see, won't he get his ass decapitated trying to become a boxer overnight? Like Jon Jones was going to do that, because Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali is not going to jump into the UFC. He didn't say that. He didn't say in the octagon, did he? He just said he can beat him in the same night. So let's just assume we know what he's assuming. He's talking about the boxing ring, the squared circle. Ludicrous. Absolute ludicrous. I'm like Bruce fucking Vane. Shut the fuck up. Because I mean, it's just, you're just talking shit now. And it sounds like a drunken person at a bar. It just says some obnoxious shit. He could beat up Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali the same night. That sounds like some motherfucker that had too much Long Star beer and too many shots. That just seen a UFC fight. That's what he's sounding like. It doesn't even sound logical. So now I question shit. How good of a commentator are you saying stupid shit like that? But anyway, that's my counterpunch on it. You guys tell me what you think, of course. Please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.